بسم الله بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وللسامعين ولجميع المسلمين أجمعين. I pray you all well, viewers, and in the best of health. This video is going to be a quick, inshallah, and short video regarding how does the acceptance work and when exactly does the list come out. And the reason why I'm making this video is because many people have said certain things or they believe certain things. So there's so many different misconceptions regarding the Islamic University of Medina and when exactly the list comes out and how it works and how one can get accepted, how one can get accepted. So I thought, inshallah, I asked Allah Azza to make this of benefit and to make it sincere for His sake. I thought, why not make a video for those that are actually interested in studying in the Islamic University of Medina, or those just generally that wanted to actually know how the list comes out, when it comes out, and how people can get accepted, how it all works. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So to begin with exactly how it works before we actually jump onto when the list comes out, then how it works when one actually makes the application. Now, is there a specific time frame or period when the doors are open for one to apply? There is no actual time frame, so one can apply throughout the whole year. That's the first kind of thing that I wanted to kind of clear. So as many brothers did ask, if one wants to apply in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, you can apply throughout the whole year. So just to kind of clear that misconception, that's the first thing. Secondly is when actually someone is applying to the University of Medina, then they should always bear in mind that things work differently than how things would work in the West or in another kind of in another place or another third world country. So it's not the same thing. Now, because of COVID, things have changed. Okay, so how it would work before is one would apply, for example, let's say one applies in this month, in the month of May. If one applies in the month of May, then he would have to wait one whole year for the list to actually come out, for his name to actually be considered to be put on the acceptance list. That's how it would work before COVID. Now, bearing in mind that now due to COVID, Wallahu musta'an, Allah to uplift this this pandemic from us, because COVID has come in place, things were put on hold for quite some time because, of course, the university were not accepting new students to actually come and study in the Islamic University, meaning physically. Now, with regards to this year, then all of those that have applied from last year, okay, so the cut-off period, once again, let's make it clear. You can apply throughout the whole year. In terms of being considered for this year, let's say, then the cut-off period was, of course, December. How it works every year, just as the second semester comes to an end, because in the Islamic University of Medina, there's two semesters. There's a semester from September, it commences in September, and it ends in January. It ends in December. And then the next semester starts in January, and then it ends roughly around May. So when the December time comes in, that's when usually they kind of cut off the list, or that's when, and sometimes it's stretched until early January. So for those that applied last year, or before January, I should say, then inshallah the list will be for this year. Now people are asking, or I can see in the comments that would there be a list that will come out this year? Yes, inshallah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. That's what I've been informed, that the list will come out this year. Now, when exactly? The list usually comes out, or I should say it used to come out before Ramadan. This is back in the past. Like a couple of years ago, the list would come out before the month of Ramadan enters. Why? So it would give the people enough chance for them to prepare. And then usually people come roughly around August, September. That's when the semester starts. The beginning of the academic year is around August, September times. Now, things have changed and the list now started to come out mid-Ramadan. As for now, this year, then it will come out, inshallah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, sometime after Ramadan. Now, when it's stated sometime after Ramadan, it could be between now all the way until the period of Hajj. Because remember, the Hajj period now is going to be around July. So which means that the list that will come out will be for those students that will come, inshallah, in the month of September or August, end of August, September times. And this is when it usually happens. Of course, because of COVID, I've said once again, the list always changes in terms of it being open for one to apply. It's been closed for a long period of time because of the current situation. And the reason why it's been closed is because, of course, students are not actually allowed to enter the kingdom to actually study physically due to COVID. Now, usually it would be open throughout the whole year because, of course, of works, and obviously things are going to change in terms of how one actually applies before he would actually go in, be allowed to go in physically to apply. Sometimes students would apply online and then do Umrah interview. All of this has changed, and it's still under work, and they're still kind of fixing the whole process of how a student can actually apply in terms of physically, that is. In terms of online, then inshallah, this is all down to university. Now, I personally don't work for the university, okay, but it's just the experience that I've got, that I know these kind of pieces of information. So in terms of when exactly, for those asking, when is the doors going to be open for me to actually apply to the Islamic University in Medina, Allah knows best. This is it all in the hands of Allah Azza wa Jal. Of course, the university is working towards that, but things are right now up and running in terms of them making several changes. There's so many changes going to be made in terms of how a student can actually apply to study in the Islamic University of Medina. So inshallah, hopefully that clears that misconception. But in terms of when the list usually comes out, it's usually this period in the month of Shawwal all the way until Dhul Hijjah. Another misconception I wanted to clear, that many people think that if a student, for example, his name comes out later than many other students, because let's say, for example, with my own personal experience and many brothers that I know, some of them, their name came out, let's say, midway through the semester, first semester. So like November time. Some of them, their name came out in January time. This all is something that has happened, and it could happen in the near future, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it affects the student in terms of them studying. Many students have come midway through a semester, at end of a semester, or the beginning of a semester. It doesn't affect you. So for example, simple example in a scenario, if a student comes in November because his name came out late August, September, then he actually managed to finish off all the visa process, and then he comes in the country in November. This student now, it does not affect him in terms of him studying in the university, and he won't be kicked out. He won't be affected in terms of him coming late, and exams are in a month and a half time. Usually what happens is he has two options. Either he could be mustami', which means that he just comes to the lessons, but he won't actually sit the exam, okay? So he will just be attending the lessons, but he won't actually have to sit the exams, and it won't be work for him to sit the exam. Or he can actually, if he feels that he's ready, depending on how his level is, whether he's in the kulliyah, the faculty, or he's in the Arabic Institute, in the ma'had, he can sit the exams. But it doesn't affect him. It doesn't affect his final grade or anything of the sort. Another question that a lot of people asked was with regards to whether it is free. The University of Medina, walillah alhamdulillah, may Allah reward them, is completely and totally free of charge. You don't have to pay for anything. Your ticket is paid for. Your visa is obviously paid for and is sorted out. And the whole process of you coming there is totally free. And of course, accommodation is provided for. All of this is completely free, of charge. Obviously, we're talking about a single student that has come to study. Also as well, there's lots of changes that have been made, which have made life so much easier for lots of brothers that actually come to the university. From them changes is that before, when they land, usually a brother will come and pick them up, or one of their friends, or they'll get a taxi or their own, they get their own sort of transportation to actually commute to the university from the airport. Now all of this has changed, alhamdulillah. So when one lands in the kingdom, in Medina Munawwara, then there's like a shuttle bus, and there's a designated place within the actual airport where one would find people that work for the university, usually students, and they would actually have a sign there for students that actually literally right there, there'll be like, let's say a stand there, and it's written University of Medina students. So someone will actually come and meet you upon your arrival and actually put you in the shuttle bus, like a mini bus or a coach, depending on how many students arrive at the same time. And this obviously, all this information gets to them, meaning when a student is going to arrive through the actual mandoobs. Now, mandoob is someone that actually liaises for the students or in charge of the students. For each country, there's a mandoob. There's a person that's in charge of, for example, Malaysia, UK, America, Australia. There's actually a mandoob, someone that's in charge and sorts out the visas and information of the students. So they're the ones that liaise with the university, and they're the ones that informs the university of when the student is going to arrive. So upon arrival, it takes them students that arrive, whether it's 2 students or 15 students, takes them from the airport to the actual university. Now, this obviously wasn't there back in the days, and alhamdulillah, these things actually make life so much easier for the student. And when the students arrive, of course, they do the process. I don't need to go into more information because I've actually covered this in the previous videos. Another sort of question that, or misconception that people believe, is that a student studying in the university that actually comes to the university, they're going to be supported once they bring their families. Now, this is completely and totally wrong. With regards to who's in charge of the American student or the British students or the Australian students, this is all information that you can find, inshallah, when you get accepted, because I believe when each person gets accepted, for example, let's talk about America, because the brother's asking, is when you get accepted, then there is a WhatsApp group that has been designed for the students that have been accepted and still in their countries. That WhatsApp group, obviously, the mandoob usually, or the person in charge usually, is the one that sets it up. So the Brits, we have one, the Americans have one, the Malaysians, Chinese, all the students that have been accepted, there usually is someone there that knows you, that obviously is studying in the university, that informs the mandoob, the liaison, and he adds you to the group to make your life easier, to make you kind of, welcomed into the actual community of those studying in the Islamic University in Medina. Now, going back to the topic of when someone gets married, or when if a brother's married and he's applied for the visa for his wife and his children, then is he supported financially by the university? The university does not support anyone living in the country with regards to actually bringing their wives, renting accommodation, and general, day-to-day life. In terms of how much you get, the mukafa, how much you get every single month, it doesn't change whether you're married or you're single. It remains the same price, exactly same amount. The exact same amount. It doesn't change at all. So this is something that you have to bear in mind, because a lot of people believe and they think that once you actually get your family over there, then you're going to get some sort of support. This is completely wrong. So we have to bear in mind this, because a lot of people have asked. So I thought I would open the chat for discussion for this topic. And also with regards to people that have actually lived there, they would obviously be able to kind of know exactly what I'm talking about. That when you actually do plan to bring your family out, they have to bear in mind and realize that you're going to have to take full responsibility of providing for your family. Because, of course, without a doubt, one is not in any sort of position to ask the university for support, because that's not why the university was built or established. The university, with alhamdulillah, they've opened this kind of door for the people to actually be able to come to study and to bring their families, so their family members can also benefit and stay with them within the country and benefit. But in terms of you actually going there, and this is why one of the reasons anyway the university may not reward them, they opened this bab, and another reason for them to close it for a period of time was because a lot of students were actually going out there to the country studying, and of course going and asking for support, or not being able to actually support the your family. However, alhamdulillah, the support is there. In terms of, when I say support, I mean the support of you actually doing each process of bringing your wife is there. There's clear instructions how to do it, how to bring your family members, and how to apply for the visa, and how all the process works. Inshallah, another day we can do that specific topic, and we can just concentrate on that. Now, another topic that I wanted to touch on is how to better your chances in terms of applying for the University of Medina. I'm going to just touch on this briefly, and inshallah then we'll end the discussion. In terms of actually bettering your chances, there's so many different things that you can do, but a lot of the brothers have to bear in mind. Now, I've seen several applications and several people applying to the university. A lot of people that apply to the university, they apply, and many times you see that a lot of things are missing within the application. Now, you have to bear in mind that the university, the process, how it works, if you put in your application, it goes to Medina University, they look at it, and they have allocated people looking at each different countries. And that specific application made by yourself, let's say whatever country you're in, is looked at. If there is anything missing within the things that are required for you to actually upload, then without a doubt, your application is getting put to the back of the file. You have to bear in mind, you're dealing with people that some may not understand the English language, some may not actually fully be able to see properly because your specific documents have not been put in color. Many brothers, they upload documents and their passport is not clear, the passport picture is not clear, the name is not clear, the two letters of recommendations are not clear. These things are all things that put off the actual people looking or behind the desk actually looking at your actual application. And it doesn't just end there. Once your process has been looked at, and let's say you've been nominated, let's say they like your actual application, they like who you are and what you've said about yourself. For example, you come from this background, they think that you're a person that is in need of coming to the country to learn and benefit. It goes obviously to another set of board, and it goes through another process. And these things are not something that's important for us to know where it goes, but it goes to another place, and that's where it goes to. That's where the final decision comes. Now, once again, so it's looked at in two different places, once in the university and another place. Now, if we, or let's say I myself have put in the application and for example, my birth certificate is missing, my passport picture is not clear, my two letters of recommendation is just black and white, and it looks like as if I myself have made it up. These are all things that are red flags, and it's all reasons for my application to be rejected. So these are things that one has to bear in mind when you're applying to the university. It's not like applying for somewhere else. Obviously, they're dealing with thousands of applicants daily on a day-to-day basis. So if one is not, putting the required documents as they have been asked, then of course, without a doubt, don't be shocked if you're not going to be accepted. Of course, without a doubt, it's all tawfiq min Allah Azza wa Jal. And it's something that if Allah wishes it for you, then you'll be accepted. But these are the things that you should kind of look into. There's so many things, and I've just listed maybe 2 or 3 that one can look into in terms of bettering his chance of being accepted into the Islamic University of Medina. Okay, Akhi, Brother Muhammad, that question in itself needs a whole lesson in terms of how one can support himself, because Akhi, there is many means and many ways, but I don't think I've got enough time to actually discuss that. But just know without a doubt that if you yourself have set a goal and you've made intention to seek knowledge for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, khalis li wajhi Allah Azza wa Jal, that it's a thing where, Brother Muhammad, if you set yourself a goal, you say to yourself, I want to seek knowledge for the sake of Allah, and I want it to be khalis li wajhi Allah. You have to know that you're going to come through obstacles. You're going to be tested. You're going to go through different, stages in life where you're going to be tested. Especially if you want to seek knowledge and you want to leave the land that you're from to go to another land, like Saudi Arabia. And you have to understand, akhi, man taraka shay'an lillah awadahu khayran minha. So if you leave something for the sake of Allah, Allah is going to give you something beneficial and much better. Allah is going to replace that which you've left for His sake for something better. Of course, you have to fight for your family. It's something that's wajib. But in terms of you being out there, it helps with your intention and you being truthful and sincere. If you're actually sincere and you set yourself a goal and you want to seek knowledge because you want to get closer to your Lord, which should be the main reason, then know that akhi, Allah will never leave you. Allah would never leave you. But of course, there are different types of ways for you to get a job, on the side, or to do something on the side when you're out there in the country. But inshallah, like I said, I'd rather to give it its right, akhi, your answer, to give an answer to you that's going to actually make you understand as best I do, complete separate video, which inshallah I plan to do in the next upcoming days. Then you will actually understand how one could do it, because a lot of people, and it's sad, but it's a sad reality, a lot of people have actually left the university because of this specific reason, financial difficulties. And it's not something that's surprising, because of course, without a doubt, it's not easy. One has to make a sacrifice. Should I stay in the country and seek knowledge but then leave my family for all these years they're struggling, or should I stay with my family and struggle at the same time? Should I even bring them? So many questions and so many discussions. This specific matter, this specific topic can go in different ways, and it can open doors for actual topics to actually arise and for it's it's a vast topic, because it is something that's deep and it is something that is needed to kind of highlight. So inshallah bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, I'll make a separate video answering these specific questions, because it is something that's very important. I myself sadly have seen so many of my close friends, so many brothers that I don't know maybe, that I've been told about, that they've left because of the fact that they've had to make a sacrifice, and it's not easy. Some people, let's say even for the single brothers, some brothers that are single have had to leave the university because of problems at home that they're facing. It's not easy, akhi. It's not something easy. It's not something someone's going to come and pour for you and a glass of water, and you're going to just drink and just be able to kind of understand the knowledge and just be able to become some sort of scholar or a student of knowledge. That's not the case, and that is the sad reality. So bearing in mind, having said that, one has to kind of be ready already, and this is something that inshallah, another topic as well that I'm going to kind of touch on, and it has to be discussed, is the university for everyone? And the misconceptions that a lot of people have, or people actually kind of compare the Islamic University of Medina for the actual they compare it to actual universities, for example, in their actual hometowns. And this is something that has caused a lot of brothers to come because they have some sort of expectations when they come to the university, and then they just get kind of it's like a sadma, it's like a big shock. People get shocked. People, when they come to the university, like, oh, I was expecting this and this and this, but why is it not like this? Because of the fact that sadly some of them are ignorant. They just don't know. They haven't been informed. Or some people just generally think that universities all around the world is the same, especially because of the fact that this is for the sake of Allah, so it's going to be easy, but that's not the case. So that's something, inshallah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, I will touch on. Yeah, Akhi Kareem, with regards to the Arabic Institute, then it's actually 2 years, not 4 years. It's 2 years, and it includes, of course, this topic has been touched on with the brother Tawheed, may Allah preserve him, his video. We kind of touched on it, and it includes learning the Arabic language from level 1 to level 4. So it's got 4 different levels, and each level you cover different things. So it's literally like a program set. So you literally are climbing a ladder, okay? And each level, it has things that it doesn't have in the previous level, if that makes sense. So that's what Arabic Institute includes. And bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, all the other questions are kind of reoccurring. So inshallah, we'll end it here. May Allah preserve you all. And with regards to the Arabic College, bi'idhnillah, that's another video, and brother Endrit, that's another video, inshallah, is going to come out very soon, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, and the faculty of Quran as well. And we'll end it there. Jazakumullahu khairan, khairul jazaa. هذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاكم الله خير الجزاء.